welcome to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sport. Of course, we are all happy. F1 is back, and we started with, of course, the Bahrain GP last week. Ken, and of course, we're going to take a look at that, of course, before we dive into the preview for Jeddah this week. So, of course, two races in quick succession. That's how we love it. Action packed opening start to the season. Of course, Max Verstappen would have won the opening race. And we're going to take a quick look at the standings and what took place. Of course, Max would have come in first. It was a 1-2 for Red Bull, Max and Sergio Perez, followed by Sainz. It was a very good race. And also, historically, in a very, very, very long time. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and say it's the first time ever, but I think it's the first time ever that all the drivers actually finished and completed the race. I'll say that one more time. All the drivers completed the race. No DNFs, no accidents. There's a certain driver that's not driving anymore, and there were no DNFs. Not calling names, but is that a coincidence? But no accidents, no incidents. Well, let's just say no incidents, but no reasons for anyone to DNF. That's amazing. Of course, all we are concerned about, of course, is our top 10. And someone that a lot of people tend to disrespect and bad talk and be harsh on. Lance Stroll was in the points. Was in the points. I tried to defend him. Very glad for him. Very proud of him. He was in the points. So Lance Stroll, 10th. Fernando Alonso, right? 9th. Oscar Piastri, 8th. Someone that we had our hopes set on, our eyes set on. We were expecting a lot from him this season. And of course, it's only the first race. Lewis Hamilton, 7th. Of course, still waiting for his first race win in a very long time. So let's see. Lando Norris, 6th. George Russell, 5th. Charles Leclerc, 4th. Sainz, 3rd. So getting a podium, one of the first podiums of the first race of the season. Sergio Perez coming in second. And of course, Max Verstappen. No surprise there at all. Max is in red hot form right now, and we expect him to virtually win almost all the races. We are looking and trying to predict who can usurp him, who could overtake and probably possibly pip him, and of course give him some competition throughout the season. But for now, Max is the guy. Don't see it changing any other way. So of course, let's take a look at the fantasy for last week. Let's see what took place, who was the big performers. Right. So of course we can have three teams all at once while conducting a fantasy. So let's take a quick look. So of course, let's look at my personal team here. So let's look at the points. Then bring up the points. All right. So Bahrain GP team 1. So team 1 so far 137 points. We had Lewis Hamilton with 12 points. Charles Leclerc, of course, with 22. He did finish 4th. Daniel Ricciardo, 10 points. So I'm guessing his solid performances in the qualifying as well would have helped. We have Alexander Albon with 0. Nico Hulkenberg with -3. Size Red Bull Racing, so they've constructed with 89 points, and of course, RB with 7 points. So, not a terrible, terrible start. We will take that. All right. Team two, this is the YouTube team, right? This is the YouTube community team. So, of course, Max Verstappen with 90 points. He was our DRS driver. Of course, we had Pierre Gasly with 6 points, Yuki Tsunoda -1, Albon with 0, Carlos Sainz with 36 points. So solid there. So again, I'm proud of this team because it was a mix, two solid drivers, and then you had some mid-tier. Pierre Gasly contributing 6 points, vital. Mercedes with 42 points, so not bad at all. Right? Because of course both drivers would have finished in the top 10. So of course that would have helped. And of course, Alpine with 12 points. So not too bad at all there, taking that. Definitely a great start. We will look at the standings in a bit. And of course, Team 3, 148, just an experimental team trying to see what the differentials could do for me. But Fernando Alonso, 7 points. Valtteri Bottas, nothing. Lando Norris, so coming in clutch there for me, 32 points. K-Mag, 7 points. Logan Sargent, 3 points. And of course, Kick Sauber with 10 points and Red Bull with 89. So solid their performance so far, especially with that kind of thing. That team was a little weak in terms of the drivers, but had solid constructors. And I think that is what can help. If you have a solid constructor, consistent constructor performance, especially if the two drivers are coming in the top 5 or top 10, good to go. So definitely a strategy I will try to hold on to moving forward. So my team, one team out of 90 is 77, team 2 is 43, and team 3 is 69. So let's take a look at who is on top so far, who is crushing it. So number one, we have Mark Lynch. Wow, so look at some of these points already. So 248. I'm assuming some people might have used chips. So of course, Ferrari, Max or Mark Lynch with 248, Hamilton, 8-time champions. Well, we know who he backs, 245. And one of our very own panelists, Kapil, with 242. All right, so let's see what they would have done. And yep, so said, so done. So they use a chip. Smart. And we've seen this strategy used many seasons or in the past. Jump with a chip one time. And of course, now that we know that Max virtually will or should win most of the races, is a safe bet. Just put it on him. And that propelled him to his point. So he had Max and he had a Red Bull constructor. And then after that, there was not much to talk about. Aston Martin 20, K Max 7, and still made 248 points and on top of the table. So solid there from him. No multiplier chip here, but this was a nice team here. So he had Ferrari and Red Bull. So of course, Ferrari would have finished very well. Number 3, number 4, in the race. Red Bull finished 1-2. He had Perez, Sonoda -1, Guanyu Zhou 11, Gasly 6, and Ricardo 5. So not bad. So this again, we like to do these things so you can see what kind of what players or what racers can contribute and do, and the kind of teams you could build. So you can build a team with two of the best or top constructors, and then put in one or two, so a top racer like Perez, and then sprinkle some of the mid guys. So not bad at all. Let's see what Kapil did here. So Kapil, again, so no chip here, but 242 points. He had Ricardo, Sonoda, Sargent, Perez, and Zhao. And again, he had the top two constructors, Red Bull and Ferrari. So that may be a decent strategy. And he was able to still get the likes of Perez and Ricardo in his team. Because of course, we know the prices are very ridiculous in so far in the league. I want to thank everyone for watching. Please drop a like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know how much points you made or what you thought about the race. Who surprised you? Yes, we're not surprised by Max, but we're surprised by any other of the finishers. And I'm joined by Ishmael. Ishmael, bro, thanks for coming through, man. Good evening.
Hey, evening.
Well, of course, how did your team do for the week? We'll talk about the fantasy first, then dive into the race. Now that I have you to help me go through the race. How your team did so far?
To be honest, I didn't check it too well so far. Waiting until free practice to check out any teams to see. I doesn't like to watch after. I like to watch before
Fair
because
enough.
Yeah, sometimes I feel, well,
I guess it'll give you a better idea of who to go for and whatnot based on the performances. But
yeah.
I want people to look at this particular. As I said, I like this team here. So the top constructors. I think these might be the constructors that run away with it, that battle. Of course, depending on the track, and we'll talk about that when we talk about Jeddah in a bit. But definitely I think this is your best bet. But obviously, if you want to have, I don't know, if you want to have a Max or something in the team, then you'll have to compromise the constructors. We did see that one person had Max and the Red Bull constructor, and definitely that will propel you. And then
But
if you could, mhm,
if you look at the price, right, and then you want to say you want to choose one, the double on max will get you probably around the same amount as the Rebel constructor, because I think max covering whatever Perez make.
yeah,
So having
yeah,
a max with a double is basically a Rebel constructor.
yeah, correct. I agree. I fully agree. I think and we touched on that last week. It is very awesome now that we could use the double on top racers because then when it was price, it was a price cap on the type of racers that you could use the double on. So now that it is free for all and we could put it on, I think that's it. Just keep your double on max and you're good to go. Unless you get an inkling or think, oh, okay, yes, Max is gonna do well, but I'll put it double on someone else. I think it's safe to put it on Max, and then you could also use that funds now to maybe get Ferrari, Mercedes. Just saying, maybe. So that way now you cover the other two constructors that will be in and around the conversation, and you have your max points. I think that's a great strategy going forward. Yeah. So I want to thank everyone that is tuning in. Let us know how you did. If you took part, if you're taking part, of course, it's not too late. You can still join up your team. I will put the league code in the description. I forgot to do that. I'll do that so you can still join. It is open, it's
Shout out
unlimited,
Magnussen though.
and you can put out your three teams. Right. So we're gonna talk about that now. Right. So look. Now I have Ishmael here to help me analyze. Right. Let's take a look now at the because again, I just don't want to shout out K Mag, Ishmael. I was saying, I don't know if you could probably correct me. Is this the first time ever that all the drivers completed the race?
Yeah, I believe so. I think
Yeah.
they said in history.
Yeah, I didn't want to
And
put my foot in my mouth and say, say the wrong thing, but I did remember seeing something. I was like, wow, that's crazy. First. That's crazy. First
that
time ever.
honestly to me is a very good sign for the season,
Yes.
because while everybody may not be fast, at least there's some kind of reliability there.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, the other reasons people get knocked out is because of the accidents and whatnot.
Of course. Of course.
So
Driver
I
error.
was, I always pray for races where there are no accidents and stuff like that,
Of
because
course. Of
no
course.
incidents is good, right?
Of course.
But it was good. I mean, we still had a few minor incidents, but it wasn't anything to put out anybody out of the race immediately.
Yeah. And that's why I tried to correct myself because I was saying there was no incidents. Like, nope, there were, but not to the extent, as you said, that we had to DNF or have anything happen. So I'm very, very happy about it.
Well,
And as
that first incident just get me vexed. I wanted to turn off one time because Magnussen, Hulkenberg, and Stroll was like, "As my points gone."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. And well, as you say, I'm glad you said Stroll. Pick up Stroll. But let's start from the 20. So 20, of course, Logan Sargent finishing, Valtteri Bottas finishing, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon. Not a place where I am accustomed seeing him finish, but let's see. I know they were talking about the car before, especially Gasly and Ocon. They don't seem very pleased or confident in the vehicle for this season. So let's see if they can shake up. Big up Hulkenberg, right? 16, Alexander Albon, 50, Yuki Tsunoda. Now, some of these guys had solid qualifying, and the qualifying was solid for some of these guys. And then they just got pipped out in Q2. They did get in Q3. Q2, they're going to and they get pipped out at the last minute. So to me, some of the low tier guys, or even some of the mid guys, I would like to say, are looking solid. It's just for them to do it on race day, right? Yuki Tsunoda and Ricardo 14 and 13 respectively. K-Mag 12, Guan Yu Zhou 11. Now, I have to big up Stroll. Again, I just did it in the intro. Big up Stroll. I know people like to be on him. Ishmael like to say, okay, I think daddy money, but he put daddy money where his steering wheel is and got some points. First points for the season. Talk to him now. You're
No,
going to
honestly,
respect him for the rest of the season?
from last season when he was driving with all the pins and stuff and going through the pain to drive,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
commitment
mm-hmm.
he showed there,
Yep.
and the fact that he was still able to do something with it. It wasn't just like, okay, well, you showed that you could still race and you come 20th. You
Yeah,
still get points and whatnot. That was impressive on itself.
of
And I
course.
honestly think Stroll is a decent driver, you know. People is knock him. But he not there entirely of daddy money because daddy money would not go there if it didn't make sense, right?
Correct, correct,
He's a
correct.
very, very smart businessman and he will not do it. Even though it's a dream, he wouldn't do it if it wasn't a dream that could be a reality.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's some kind of weird saying that Stroll could win a driver's championship. But if Austin Martin get the car, then he there, you know.
yeah,
He have
very
the
much so.
capabilities.
Very much so. And not just that, but we keep forgetting you cannot. This is not, how to say why. This is not football or Premier League. Or no, I don't say Premier League, but this is not football or other sports where once you show up and do the bare minimum, you get to go, This F1 thing is serious. Not any and everybody could just show up and just, hide and just go through the emotions. You have to be in tip top shape physically,
Yeah,
mentally,
if
right?
you go and you go to want to do that, you have to spend at least 5 years
Hmm.
from your ground zero,
Hmm.
putting in double the effort them put in to be able to even drive the car, not even to make a team or make the car, be
Correct.
able to just drive around a track because the amount of fitness they need and strength they need to be able to just drive the car, not to drive it like at the peak, but just drive it. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Now, of course, where did I reach? All right. So, bam, big ups to Alonso. So ninth, not so because last season he had a better start, but ninth, we'll take that. He's in the points. Any thoughts on Alonso, Ishmael, after the first race? Ishmael with us? So as I was saying, yeah, so Alonso would have had, of course, a very solid start to last season, finishing ninth, but of course, in the points. So most important, right? Again, Oscar Piastri in the points, solid. We're expecting some great things from him and McLaren, and of course, Lando Norris. So both teams, and we've seen a pattern, So both Aston Martins in the top 10, both McLaren in the top 10, both Mercedes, both Ferrari, both Red Bull. Of course, it will not always work out that way. Each grid, each race, each circuit will present its own difficulty. And of course, certain drivers are very good at certain circuits and certain Grand Prix. And of course, as we know, coming up is the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, won last year by Sergio Perez. So big up. I think that Perez could possibly do it again. This is his thing. This is his circuit. This is his track. Of course, we know qualifying takes place on Thursday, and it's another Saturday race. Right, just now we'll get back to the Sunday races. Just now we'll get back to the regular schedule, but it's a Saturday race. It'll be 1 p.m. on this side of the world. I think 5 p.m. UK time, right? If you're from that side of the world looking on, but 1 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. Caribbean time. Well, Southern Caribbean time, I should say. And of course, practice Thursday, qualifying Friday, action on Saturday. So it should be a very solid and very awesome race. Cannot wait for the action to take place. As we know, Jeddah is it's yes, of course, on that side of the world, but definitely different. DRS zones, the turns pose a lot more difficulty. You can overtake, and then somebody overtaking points have some DRS zones right after them. So as you overtake someone, bam, someone could get DRS on you. So it's very tricky and could pose. I think we could definitely see our first red flag or a red flag in this race. Definitely will have some red flag incidents in this particular race. But based on the what we saw in Bahrain, I think it will be business as usual for Max. I think also if we look at it from a fantasy perspective, I personally may not make too much changes. I think I'll stick with what I have so far because we still have to be careful with the price and price rises. But of course, as you saw some strategies from some of the other guys, Max and some solid constructors seem to be boding well and faring well and working out. Of course, let me see any. I've not seen. So Ishmael says Wi-Fi is dropping. No problem. Now, of course, with Jeddah, as we know, heat degradation. So I think it will be a one stopper kind of thing, a one stop strategy. Most drivers will try their best to go as hard as possible. And then one stopper, of course, depending on conditions. And as I said, is a very, very tricky circuit to use. Um, so far, it is mid 70s to low 90s so far Fahrenheit with the weather so far. We're expecting some good weather, so I think that should not be a problem so far with the circuit. And of course, my predictions, I'm expecting a Max. I'm expecting Max to win, of course, but deep down, I would like Perez to take the win. I would love Perez to pip him out and repeat, do a double, a 1-2 last year and this year win, a repeat. That will be great, but Max is just unstoppable right now. And of course, you will know that they will put the priority on Max winning unless something unforeseen happens there. Let's see who would have won last time out. They normally have that. Hold on. Because that is important. Right. So, of course, as I said before, Sergio Perez was your last winner. Right. So, 2023 race results. Right. That is important. Good to know who has the advantage of the track, who knows track well. So, of course, Sergio Perez would have won. Max would have been a Red Bull 1-2. Fernando Alonso, as I said, Fernando Alonso had a great start last season. George Russell was fourth, Lewis Hamilton fifth, Carlos Sainz sixth, Charles Leclerc seventh, Esteban Ocon eighth, Pierre Gasly ninth, K-Mag with rounding off the top 10. So, of course, we can see something. We are expecting something totally different. I don't expect Mercedes to finish that high. I think Leclerc could finish higher. I think it could be Sergio Perez, Max, sorry, Perez, and maybe Leclerc coming into there, maybe followed by Sainz and then the Mercedes boys, right? Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Who you all have in the top three? Who is your predictions? Who do you recommend for the fantasy aspect? I'm not going to dive into that part. Thank you guys for watching so far. Please smash a like, please share. Let me know your thoughts on the race. Let me know your outside predictions. Let me know if I'm only talking about the big boys and there's someone you think based on what you saw in Bahrain that could do something in Jeddah that could probably stir up the pot. Let us know. Right? We always want your feedback. So let's take a quick look at the fantasy part now and try to plan each team and see what we could come up with for Jeddah. As I said, Jeddah is a totally different beast, totally different animal, and I think we may have a safety car may come out. Definitely would have a safety car coming out for Jeddah. I definitely have a feeling, I have that inclination. All right, let's bring it up. Right, of course, I'm gonna try. I'll put our fantasy code in the description so you can jump in. It is open. Share it to your friends. Take part. It's a fun league. Just a fun league for us to keep. It helps to keep track of what's happening. Well, no pun intended, and helps us, of course, be more invested in the sport. We're trying to, of course, build awareness for the sport. We want F1 to be as popular as football. All right, so let's bring up the fantasy. Of course, let me know what points you got. Let me know what your chip strategies are. I did not use any chips. It is not a bad idea. It's definitely not a bad idea to use chips for the first race, especially now that we know that Max is super consistent. I think it's a brilliant idea. But I am saving my chips. Of course, we know sprint weekend, stuff like that, double points. So yeah, let's manage team one. So team one. I have Hamilton, Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, Albon, and Nico Hulkenberg. what do I do with this team? Is this do I shred this team apart? What do I do? I definitely have. So one something we see is very low because most of our top 10 made 200 and something points. So we definitely want to try and catch up. Nico Hulkenberg, Alex Albon, and Daniel Ricciardo. Do I see them maneuvering Jeddah properly? Do I see them handling Jeddah? I'm not too sure. Not super confident in them, but I'll have to be. I think I want to be a little patient. I want to be a little patient with this team. Sometimes fantasy requires patience. It can't just be all right, reactionary. I have to bring in this one because he did well. Because you can, let's say you go and chase, I'm just saying, you chase signs, or signs could very well DNF because we may not get the same fortune that we got in Bahrain where there were no DNFs. But I must say that was very, very, very interesting. It was very interesting to see that. And it's the first time in history. And as Ishmael said before he got his internet issues, it bodes well. It bodes very well for the season if that standard can be kept up because the drivers are doing their thing, they're focused, they're sharp. And finishing a race is not easy, as we've all seen watching F1 for the many years you've been watching it. So definitely something to look out for. Now, I've seen Ocon saying that they're trying their best to bounce back from Bahrain and trying their best to improve. Hopefully, but as I said earlier, they are not too confident, right? But as we know, uh, Jeddah is a very fast street circuit, and you have to, I think drivers, they have to be very cautious with those corners. And we know some of the guys who are solid on corners. Of course, you have your Sergio Perez, you have your Lewis Hamilton, your George Russells. McLaren turning was not solid last season, but I think they've improved. So I definitely want to give Piastri and those guys on Lando, of course, the edge. So in saying all that, let's see how we can pick the right team. All right. So of course, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc. I'll leave those two. Red Bull, RB, no Ricardo. Let's see. Let's look back at the standings. So we'll use the standings as reference, right? So of course, our Ricardo and this now I want to bring it up. Right. So Ricardo did not he did not finish in the top 10. So that is obviously that is something that we have to pay attention to, something that we have to that we could use as a reference point. But again, it does not mean that he cannot do it in the next race coming up. All right. So I'm not sure if I want to get rid of him right away. I think he's very experienced, and someone experienced like that will be a great asset to hold on to for this tricky Jeddah circuit coming up. So definitely not someone that I want to just get rid of or throw away for this upcoming race. I think he's definitely someone to hold on to. Lewis Hamilton, of course, obviously super experienced, definitely don't want to get rid of him. So I guess it all comes down now to which constructor, if I can switch out my constructors and bring in some better constructors to get me points. All right. So definitely won't get rid of Red Bull Racing. Ricardo did not finish too far out of the top 10, so maybe it could help. Maybe he could stick with it. So I may not drop them just yet. Let's see what we could get for Nico, right? If we get rid of Nico Hulkenberg, let's see what's available. So only 9 in the bank. So I Guan Show. All right, K-Mag. Right, so the options not that great. All right, so K-Mag did finish 12th, not too far out the top 10. Guanyu finished 11th. Could have qualified higher because he had decent qualifying, but again, he was just pipped out in the last minute. Right, I'm seeing on 20 of you guys on. Thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like, subscribe. Of course, we're home for fantasy sport. We don't just do F1, we do FPL. We have IPL coming up. We also do Champions League. We did AFCON recently. So thank you so much, guys. We are your home for fantasy sport. Thank you so much for logging in. Please have your say, right? Guide me. Let me know if there's someone I'm overlooking. Let me know what's your strategies for the upcoming race in terms of the F1 fantasy. Who's your predictions? Let me know your top 3 predictions. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Continue to drop a like. Appreciate you guys. All right. So I want to take a look at one of the other teams and then I'll jump back. So of course, let's look at the YouTube team, which did the strongest, made 180 points. All right, let's see. So of course, Max Verstappen, Gasly, Sonoda, Albon, Sainz. So this is a very strong team. I think I'll be a fool to tinker too much with this. And I love the fact that I have Mercedes and Alpine. Maybe I could drop the Alpine, maybe, and see if I could get another constructor, maybe one that finished in the top 10, maybe. Maybe a mid-tier one. But again, price. What price would I get? So maybe I should just hold on to them. But of course, as a Alpine, Ocon and Gasly are very, very, very experienced. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think I want to hold on to them. I don't want to drop them just yet. Definitely not going to drop Sainz. Do I keep my 2 on Max? Yes. I will definitely keep the multiplier on Max. I think, especially not having the Red Bull constructor, that helps cover that points, as Ishmael said before. So I'll definitely keep Sainz, definitely keep Max. Now I could be cheeky and say, right, Max will get a lot of points, put the double on Sainz, but Sainz, no, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but Max is the favorite. I think for the rest of the season, obviously, to finish if not first or at least top 2. So definitely you want to hold on to Max. And then Max is someone, if because of the pace of the Red Bull, let's say he qualifies 8th, right? So P1 8th. You definitely want the overtaking points for Max. You are guaranteed overtaking points. Guaranteed. Of course, unless something unforeseen happens. But we saw it last season where he might have dropped or something happened and he had to go into the pit, or as I said, maybe qualified, not in the top 3, but definitely gain some places. And you want that. You want to give that multiplier, that 2 times to me, to the person who you think will have the best qualifying start or who will have the best overtaking advantage, who will definitely gain places for you. So that's some food for thought going forward, planning out your strategies. All right. So let's look at team 3. So of course, I think team 3 need the most love right now. It's very differential. Um, I think I want to try and bring in. Let me see if I could drop Logan. Let's see how much is Stroll. Stroll is 11. I can afford Stroll. So I'm gonna bring in Stroll. I think I'm gonna take a try on Stroll. No, yes, might be reactionary on. But I just wanna take a try on Stroll. I can drop Bottas. Who do I bring in? Do I go sideways and try and bring in Guan Yu? To me he showed some good promise. All right, I can leave that there. Do I switch out my constructors? But what constructor can I get that can possibly do better? No. I don't think I will swap out. I think I will stick to what I had. You see, this is it. Or do I go for a Haas? Do I try the Haas constructor out and see what Haas can do for me? All right. I don't think that's a bad shout. All right, let's see. Let's save our team. And who do we put it 2 times on? I think I'll definitely leave it to Lando Norris. I think he has the best. He's the best shout for finishing very high. Sadly, I can't even sell Alonso to get a solid driver in. I won't get anybody solid, so I'll just leave it like that. Yeah. So this is one of my most differential teams. Yes, I'm confirming my changes. Yep, yep, yep. All right. Oh, just no. Let me make sure. Oh, yes, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That happens. Boom. All right. So definitely. So as I come and stand there, just trying to shake up the team a little bit. I will leave my team 2 and leave my team 3. Guys, so let me know. Let me know what you'd have done differently in the comment section. I will try my best to put the league code, of course, in the description so you all can join in. Let me know what you all have done differently. Let me know how much points you got. Let me know where you're watching from, right? Definitely would love to know where you guys are tuning in from. Of course, as I said before, the so based on just some quick pointers, really quickly, about Saudi Arabia. So the Jeddah circuit has 3 sections where the use of DRS is allowed, and only 7 corners where the brake is required. So of these 5, medium high speed and 2 are medium low speed, right? Of course, it compounds C2, C3, and C4, right? The track is not aggressive on tires, so the degradation should be limited. And that is why I said it should be a one-stopper race. It's 50 laps, of course, 27 corners, 16 left, 11 right, for a total length of 6,127 meters. All right, so again, I think this could bode well for the very experienced drivers, the ones that know how to manage their tires. So again, Lewis, great at managing tires. Max, Sainz, Perez, and of course, they have solid teams behind them, solid strategists behind them that definitely know when and how to switch and to pit. We hope that Ferrari would have improved on that and don't put themselves in any trouble. All right, so I think I'll wind down and tune and sign out from there. I want to thank everyone for coming in. My panelists had some internet issues. I'm sorry about that. They would have been the ones that would have kept the conversation going even longer because, of course, they are very knowledgeable and big fans in F1. But I am the fantasy expert and guide, so that is where my expertise come in. I want to thank everyone for watching. All 23 of you. Thank you so much for making this a successful video. Please like, please share it around. Again, as I said, we don't just do F1, FPL. That show is tomorrow. We do Champions League as well. We did AFCON recently. Anything that has a fantasy, we try our best to cover. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that your drivers that you pick all finish in the top 10, get you some points, and that you have a great Jeddah race. Happy picking, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.